Hello, Jeremy.
What's going on, Mike?
Who are these two cool cats in the room with us? Were they invited?
Couple studs.
We just hacked your stream.
See that? What about that?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Good to see everybody tonight.
I think this is a first.
Yeah. Clay has his own bobbleheads. I just have my own neon signs.
Dude,
That's perfect.
I need one of those.
And Clay is Clay's a Chicago Cubs fan.
No.
You'll be sad to know that my daughter lives 3 doors down from Wrigley Field. True story.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Nice.
Wrigleyville. Good to see everybody tonight. Welcome to the Wash Pros podcast, or is it the Wash Pro show?
Right? It's the Wash Somebody show.
And then we got these two guys in here who have something I don't know, Wash Bros. And so it's Wash Pros versus the Wash Bros.
Right.
You want to play pickleball or something.
Let's go have a matchup, baby. The Houston edition.
That's it. I'm going to give a few shout outs right here, and then we're going to introduce these guys who are in the room with us tonight. Good to see Griffin Jones, always the first cat in the room every Wednesday night. John Shoemaker, always good to see you guys. Vulcan Pressure Washing, Elijah Daniels, Patrick Johnson with Skyrise Pressure Washing, the man, Ryan. Always good to see you. And the list goes on and on and on. My God, look at this. 38, 39, and it just keeps jumping. Good to see everyone tonight. We're going to have a great time. We do have a couple of guests with us tonight. They'll introduce themselves here in just a moment. But don't forget, hello there, Steve McFall. Don't forget, you've got questions. Every now and then we've got an answer, and sometimes it's right and sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes we pretend, we wing it, either way. And regardless, we're going to have a good time for the next hour. There's a reason why there's a tornado behind me, and Steve McFall here in the chat room can attest that he's in our wash area. We are getting hammered right about now, and we're supposed to get hammered for the next hour or so. This is Ohio. It's flat. Anything can happen. So if my screen goes blank you guys just continue, I'm going to be so ticked. I swear. I'd be like, dude, come on. I'm dead over here. And you guys are just still going.
You're going to have to do your best Bill Paxton.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
We have Clay Smith and we have Matt Jackson. Both these guys are with the Wash Pros podcast. You guys introduce yourself, and I think Clay's probably sharing it out there on the different channels. But you guys introduce yourself. Tell us what's up if you don't mind.
You going first, Matt?
You can kick it off, Clay. You always kick it off.
So I'm Clay Smith. I am.
You are buffering. It's a great shot too. He's probably still going. That's the best part about it. Sorry, Clay. Take it over, Matt.
Are we good now?
Yeah. Now you're good.
Okay. I'm good now.
You're fine. You were buffering there for a second.
Sounds like you got hit by a tornado instead.
I do believe he did. What's up, Matt? Talk to us.
Cool. All right. I'll carry it while Clay is buffering. He seems like. Are you better now, Clay?
Go ahead.
Okay. Cool. All right. So Clay and I are both actually in the same market. We have a cool story, and I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Wash Bros, but it's a podcast that we've been doing for the last couple of years. Started out just kind of him and I would talk as friends, helping each other out. I'd say we're probably like 2 years apart as far as our business age, and kind of started out as like, hey, this is a local competitor I see popping up on like the Facebook groups.
Beautiful.
Created a conversation, and then I was like, oh man, I had a whisper wash exploded on me. I must have hit a rock or something, and like the caster blew up, and I was like out of surface cleaner. And he's like, hey, I actually have one if you want to borrow it. So we met up at like Home Depot that day, And I was like, hey, that's a cool gesture. And we've kind of been friends since. So we both run pressure washing companies in the same market, and we're pretty much like competing head to head with each other as like our biggest competition. So kind of cool story.
Nice.
It's a very cool story. I mean, we have to talk tonight about how guys can network together, not be considered competition, though we are in some ways competing against one another, at least for the jobs. But I really expressed that energy greatly in our area here in Cincinnati, from Cincinnati to Dayton. We have a group called the Sin Day Washers, Cincinnati Dayton Washers. Around here, it's Sin Day is the name. That's how everybody calls it.
Nice.
We have like nearly 200 guys in our little Facebook group. And those are just the guys who know. And we all pretty much get along. You know, it's kind of interesting. So we've got to talk about that a little bit tonight. And then, Clay, introduce yourself, my friend, now that you've stopped buffering.
Oh, thank God. I'm going to fix that. I don't have any storms here, but anyway.
So as long as you don't do it on our podcast, we're good.
I know, right? So as Matt kind of briefly said, me and him are big competitors in our area. We consider ourselves more of the top dogs in our area. So we kind of come together and we kind of have the same business model, believe it or not. We kind of have the same pricing guidelines. Basically, we take a lot of the market up. I think between the both of us, we took over a little over $1 million last year together. We do a lot of volume. And then, like he said, we've just been buddies for a while, and we started that the Wash Bros podcast. So pretty cool stuff. We try to reach out to everyone in the industry, trying to get going. We just reached over 3,000 downloads. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, all the platforms you can think of. You can find us there. We have powerwashingcoach.com if you're interested in being mentored by one of us. Just something that we've started. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation being let out there with all the gurus and stuff like that. We do not believe that there's a blueprint to business. Everybody has their own way and own style of business. And we're just here to help people in the industry.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Where have you been all my life? I could dominate. If I had known these guys.
Yeah. So we started this company, C3 Wash Pros, and named it after my kids. I've done 7 years in the car business. My last role in the car business was a sales manager. So I took a lot of what I learned in that business, and I kind of intertwined it with the home service business, with the pressure washing. So we got, TV commercials. Our marketing is pretty much key, and that kind of ties into the brand up side of things that Matt's got going on, trying to teach people how to market, not just in pressure washing, but all home service based type businesses.
Yeah. And I have a background in corporate sales and all that kind of stuff. So that was what I did before I started pressure washing. So I was in tech sales and all that fancy stuff. And I did some car sales too. I didn't stay in it as long and be as high up as Clay was. I was just like a run on the lot, but I cut my teeth in that world for a little while. It's like, yep, I'm not trying to age that quickly. So I got out after like 8 months. So
everybody seems to have their story, It's like I talk to a lot of guys. I think one of my favorite conversations to have with pressure washers is, what the heck are you doing here and how did you get here?
It's funny because like most of my friends who do this have college degrees and have left maybe corporate America. So it isn't like it's one of those gigs where, these people this is all they got. They're off of skid row. It's like, hey, these people had opportunity. They were on a path of life, and then they decided to steer off that path of life, and pressure washing was like the vehicle they're using. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think if you would have told me when I was 16 that I was going to be washing houses one day, I probably would have said you're crazy.
I think it's literally like the examples my parents used driving by people pressure washing to stay in school, so you didn't have to do
that. Good point. Were either one of you guys ever a part-time washer? Like you had a full-time job and then you graduated or kind of segued into pressure washing full-time?
I did it part-time when I had a corporate job. So I worked in my tech sales role, and I would probably do I only did it, I'd say maybe a year or year and a half. So I started like 2018, middle of 2018, end of 2018. So I had 2019 and then COVID hit 2020. So from like 2019 part-time to 2020, like when all craziness was happening in the world, I decided to make the jump in like June of 2020.
Nice.
So you've only been in this for 4 or 5 years full time.
Yeah, full time. Yeah, like 21 was our first full time year, I guess.
Yeah.
That's why I'm getting gray hairs.
It'll do it. It'll do it. Maybe those are bleach hairs.
So
and Clay ripped off the Band-Aid, as I'll tell you.
So it's very common that a lot of guys start pressure washing to try to earn 6 figures, but I was already making 6 figures when I quit my 6-figure job to do this. So I had very high expectations.
Yeah, no doubt. Would you recommend that people do that?
You have to have a lot of confidence. The way that I looked at it was when I went into work in the car business, I didn't know if I was going to sell a car. I was 100% commission. So I looked at it the same way, right? So I got to go figure out how to get customers. I got to figure out how to get in front of the people that I want to work for. And then it's basically the same thing. It's all, if you're really good at sales, you can do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing as being Clay's competition too. It's like he's pretty tenacious. So that's why I built out a team, because I was like, I don't want to work as hard as you. I need to delegate.
Sales is a pathway.
Yeah,
I love
no
it.
doubt.
So it seems like we all kind of had a little sales background. I used to sell life insurance, and I always said, man, if I can sell a promise and a piece of paper, and I was pretty good. I was like, I think I can sell an actual product or an actual physical thing real well if I'm selling a guarantee, something that someone's never going to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the first thing that I used to, none of the guys in the room here know this, that I guess my first sales gig, I was selling pest control for Orkin Pest Control.
Nice.
God, I'm 54 years old, and that was when we were first married. We weren't married very long when I began selling pest control. The second thing I sold was radio ads, because I was a DJ. I was an evening DJ at a radio station, so I would spend the day selling radio commercials to the bagel store down the street or whatever.
That's cool.
And then be a radio personality at night, and starve doing both of those. But yeah, sales, I often tell people we do some coaching ourselves, and let them know that if you're not good at sales, you better hire someone who is. And that goes really with anything. If you're not good at mechanics, you better hire someone who is. And if you don't have a mechanic, you are the mechanic. You better be good at it. And no doubt the same is for sales.
I've learned that the hard way. I'm one of those guys. I'm like, instead of trying to wrench on something broken, I'm just going to trade it in and get a new one. Focus on my strengths here.
Focus on your strength. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So Matt, when you started out, did you just start out doing driveways? I have to know because of the name.
Initially, yes. Yeah. So It's a funny story. There's a guy I followed on social media in the car business, and his thing was called like Mike the Chevy Dude. He was out of like Louisville, Kentucky. And I was like, because I was in the car business. Yeah. And this was like 2016 when I was selling cars. So I was like, oh, social media is like the future to sell cars. And this is like where everything's headed to. And then so like I kind of modeled myself. I was like Matt, the Toyota guy, when I was at Toyota Greenville. And then I just carried that to like, okay, let me just connect it to like the driveway guy, because I just had a pressure washer. I didn't know anything about pressure washing. I just literally had like a 3.5 gallon a minute Northern Tool machine from like 2005 that my parents used. And I was just turbo tipping driveways, as Clay calls me turbo tip sometimes, because I'm just sending 4,000 PSI at 3.5 gallons a minute through a turbo tip. I spend 3 hours on a driveway and it just looks like a giant maze.
That's
that's why I started it. And then it's funny because now that I have everything established, I get so many leads for like concrete work or paving or like something involving like driveway that I'm like, do I try to use this to branch out into something else that's a little more lucrative, or is that too much of a headache? It's just it's not as much as like power washing company in the name. But now everybody just thinks like Matt's, they kind of just shorten it to like just call Matt or something like that. So it's like, oh, Matt's power washing. I look at my Googles and it's like Matt's pressure washing. It's like,
As long as Matt's working.
yeah, it's like whatever, you call me whatever you want as long as you call me.
That's exactly right. Make sure the
You
phone
pay
is
me,
ringing.
you call me whatever.
Yep.
How is business in your area, in your neck of the woods? And then again, I don't know that we've ever talked about that yet. Tell us where you guys are located, and then how's business there?
Yeah, so we're both in Greenville, South Carolina, the upstate. So it's pretty solid market, honestly. There's a ton of players in the game, a lot of competition, but I mean, we both have plenty of work. So the seasons are pretty good. I'd say they suck from middle of December to probably Valentine's Day, and then it's off to the races. So,
Okay.
So we did right at 70 jobs last month apiece.
Yeah, I think upper 70s or 80 jobs of just washing. So
that's about half of what I do all year.
got to pay the tax man with that one. But
I shared with Mike what I did last month. What did I tell you? I did 12 jobs.
nice.
You told me 6. I think you said 16 jobs. Well, whatever. Yeah.
No, well, I did 12 jobs, but my tickets are always decently high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't know. It's a different approach with me. I don't know how you got what yours is, but I'm more of a lower quantity, higher price.
So we had an average ticket of $550 last month.
Yeah.
We're like kind of neck and neck on ticket. Clay and I, like I said, are like spitting images of each other. It's like, do you want to Clay or do you want to Matt?
Just different branding.
Yeah, different brand.
Gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
funny because I'll post these reclips off of our podcast, and it'll be like us talking, and then one of the comments was like, "This bro's just like 2 weeks of no shaving version of the other guy."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
2 peas in a pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that 550, if I may throw that I think that I'm sure I'm trying to think like the guys in the chat room here, and also my wife is apparently remodeling the kitchen behind me. So at that 550 mark there, you're as being your average ticket for last month. Are we talking, for the most part, is that a house wash? Is that a roof wash? Do you do window cleaning? And what does that look like in terms of add-ons? I threw a lot at you at one time.
Do you want to go, Matt?
Sure. I mean, we will actually. I've picked up concrete ceiling as well. So that is slowly picking up for us. Usually, that's like kind of a summer gig, but primarily the average ticket's going to come out of like house washing, driveways. We do window cleaning, but we don't really do a lot. We don't really sell a lot of roof cleaning either. So for the most part, we're banging out like, I'd say we have a $350 minimum ticket, and we're just like a volume-based model. So we shoot for like 3 jobs a day, 4 jobs a day, pretty much like $1,200 to $1,500 a day.
Okay.
So we're just moving through this, but we were slowly evolving into getting like commercial tickets, and like we're doing a Presbyterian college, like a local college, and that's like a $12,000 ticket that we'll have this month. So like the longer we've been in it, like naturally stuff's just shifting up, and then we're kind of raising our tickets. So like those like $200 type houses or customers of the low end that you start out on, like we can't really afford them anymore. So like we try to be like 300, 350 minimum for like essentially like an hour type job, and then move up. But we're not really like super detailed. We don't want to say we're going to charge you $1,500 to like completely like oxidation removal, window cleaning. Like I'm not really selling high ticket like that. I'm more going for volume and going for like ease of use.
I like it. I like it. You sound more like me. Opposite
like
of what Jeremy does.
Yeah. You're more like a high volume, fair price kind of setup.
Exactly. Like I will beat Clay, and I will be like really competitive for the value we deliver, and we're just like moving quickly. And that's like we're doing I mean, revenue wise, and are busy like in May, like we'll hit probably like 72, 75 grand in May, but it's like 2 trucks loaded out, keeping the ball rolling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then word of mouth. Cause if you're like, oh, if you're going to wash this guy's house for like $400, $500 and other guys are doing it for $800, you're going to get that business. And if you can be quick and efficient, we're still profitable, and we're able to like go to that next job.
So
that's kind of the model that we have.
Got you.
So for you guys in the chat room, I'm not even. No offense to the guys in the chat room. I'm doing something we almost never do.
Yeah.
I'm just not really following that because I want to give our full attention to these guys. You've got questions here, and I want you to ask those. But then if you're in the chat room, follow that as well because you might be able to help some guys who are asking questions. But I think as what we're doing here, I really feel this spirit of we're just kind of moderating and going from one subject to the next. But these are the things that it seems to me like these are the phone calls that I get all the time. The things that we're talking about tonight is what you guys ask us all the time. So just listen really close because these guys are really throwing out some nuggets I think is going to help us all in our business. Because here I am way up north, not way up north, Midwest is actually, but certainly north compared to you guys. Jeremy's somewhere halfway between us. And here we've got 3 different styles, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think too, it's like there's multiple ways of running a business. And like what Clay was alluding to earlier, like there's no perfect blueprint. Say like Jeremy, I guess you said you kind of do this on top of a full-time gig. So you're like, I want to max out my time. Whereas like us, we got to like move the ball forward or like it dries up and then we're out of luck.
Yeah. Well, and by default, and I share this with Mike, I tend to get the bigger high-end houses in my area. And, like I'm watching 5,000 to 8,000 square foot houses. And, a driveway here is probably about 6 driveways where you guys are, like a normal driveway here is probably like 4,000 square feet.
Yeah.
They're just big, no one's really on lots. Everyone's on 1 or 2 acre minimums. And, it's just different. It's like my average ticket in March was $1,333.
Damn.
Kentucky, baby.
And it's been consistently for the last 2 years, right at $1,000. So I kind of like not having to do such high volumes, even though ideally I'm along with you guys. Like $1,500 is kind of like my minimum day that I want to have when I go out.
Yeah.
Because I do need to maximize my time. But I still wash 3 days a week. So it is part-time, but some full-time guys are not even washing 3 days a week.
Yeah, especially if you're shooting for like $1,500 a day, that's a decent week. If you're not priced the right way and you're doing 5 days a week of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm having pretty good time, pretty good months. Like, I know you shared 2 trucks in May. You can hit 70, and it's like I'm just one guy, one truck, and I might have a helper with me in May, and I'll do about almost half of what you said. And I'm like, well, I feel pretty confident in that.
I think that's kind of a good way to fill out a truck, unless you're like really going after like high ticket stuff. Cause like you could snipe roofs all day and just go like really high tickets and make a ton of money. But like for the standard cleans that we do, like $30,000 a truck to me is like not killing somebody per month. And then you're just saying, okay, how can I put another truck on there and do $50,000, $60,000, maybe $70,000. And then you just kind of stack that out.
Yep. So, and that's something that I want, I'm glad listening to you guys talking about it and being able to add a truck and be full time and have employees and keep them. Cause like, I do want to go full time probably after this year. Like I kind of have a go, and this year is probably going to be, I could have already went based off my go, but I said 1 more year and let's see how that goes.
Follow Clay's strategy and quit a 6-figure job with nothing in the pipeline.
Well, I mean,
he started this in like October too.
Yeah,
I did.
I was like, bro, this is the worst time to start.
The job I'm at, it's I could do 6 figures if I picked up 1 day of overtime. I only have to work 3 days at the hospital.
There you go.
And one day a week would put me right. It has, but I guess it's out of convenience at the moment. Like I can stay afloat. I don't get real behind on the demand. If I was to get in like 4 weeks behind and start losing business, then it would be a problem. I haven't had that problem yet.
So I guess as far as your marketing, are you like really pushing it, or are you lean on a lot of word of mouth?
A ton of word of mouth. I probably have the probably, I don't want to say the biggest brand. I hate saying that, but south of Lexington, Kentucky, and probably a lot of Lexington, Kentucky, and down, I have probably the highest rated pressure washing company in Southeast Kentucky.
There you go.
As far as Google reviewed and everything, like I don't have a great website, I don't have none of this, but I have a pretty good brand, and I have a lot of pretty good recognition. I have good contracts with hospitals and stuff like that, but it's different here. I don't know why it is. It's a ton of word of mouth. I do some yard signs, and I ran some Facebook ads last year. I haven't had to run any this year because it's been so busy.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Would you say your YouTube helps you out at all?
No.
Yeah, I feel like that's more like marketing towards pressure washers.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I've had maybe a handful of times in my little area. Like, I live in a tri-county area where 3 counties butt up, right? And there's a little city here, and when I say city, it's super small, like 7,000 people. But my whole service area is probably maybe 100,000, 105,000 people. So it's not a huge area by any means. And that's, Mike's been through here. It's super small.
See, I think our whole like upstate of South Carolina is probably like 1.2 million. And it's just getting flooded all the time by all these new builds. And everybody from the north's coming here. Everybody from Florida is moving up because it's too hot. So like we're kind of in a hotbed of home service spaces.
Nice.
Everybody's from Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
Okay.
Got to watch those Ohio guys.
Yep. But
now off camera, we were talking about AI a little bit.
Yes.
And how to utilize AI to really serve your business for growth. So let's talk about that just for a few minutes, if you don't mind.
Cool. I guess, is there anything regarding AI that you want to talk about, or like, I'll use it for some content generation ideas. But like with prompts and stuff, it's pretty crazy. You can use it as like your own business coach. So it's all these like gurus and like business coachings. Like you can literally ask ChatGPT, like, this is what I do. This is what I'm struggling with. Give me the solution. And it'll help fill in the blanks for you.
100%.
We'll use it to do content on social media. We'll use it. You can literally use it to write SEO blogs. Clay does that a lot. And he's really grown his SEO and all that stuff without having to hire anybody. You can create graphics that are cool. And I have a couple like animated figures that are made just purely from AI driven stuff. And you can use it to have like an AI agent. If you've ever heard or seen in the Facebook groups, people are using them as like answering services. So like I can clone my voice and I can use it to answer my phone for me via like prompts and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy stuff. I don't think it's there yet because you can tell it's AI, but like that's kind of where the future is headed.
Yeah.
So it's crazy stuff.
Yeah. I often tell guys that, I know I get calls regularly from guys who do not have Venmo. Like, I mean, there's, and I'm not criticizing anyone who's in it, maybe in their chat room, and that's you. I'm saying that there are some guys who are so archaic that they're not going to get passed. They're going to get lapped because they have this, there's a certain pride. I'm from the South. You guys are from the South. There's a Southern pride about being old school.
I think that's very true. And you can see it online, especially between like these new guys who are coming into the field and they're just taking over because they're modernized and they're not from, I've been pressure washing for 20 years. They're like, I come from different industries. This is a huge market to tap into, and they're just running with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like,
watch that 22-year-old.
Yeah. The young kids who grew up on their phones watching like YouTube videos, those guys are going to be dangerous. Yeah.
Don't discount those guys, and don't assume that they have nothing to offer. They may not have a lot of social skills. I don't know that, but I will tell you that they're marketing geniuses by nature. Like they come out of their mother's womb ready to make a Facebook post. So, and everything else. So you don't discount those young guys. That's for sure.
And I mean, Clay and I are both really heavy on marketing. So it's one of those things where you look at the number of views that we get on our social media channels. And it's like, you can't compete with that if you're doing yard signs or shaking hands. It's like, you're not going to shake 100,000 hands in a month. So it's like, if we can constantly be in your face, we're going to win over somebody, like you said, who refuses to even have Venmo.
Yeah.
So while you mentioned that, can we elaborate on the marketing? Like, what are you doing? What's that look like? I've obviously I follow both of you, so I know, but
yeah.
There's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of these a lot of guys in here tonight that could use a little bit of ideals. Might need to start doing some marketing, or might be a little archaic.
I would say figure out what your business means to you and almost like create a brand around that. And that's the premise I have my little passion project brand up. It's like, okay, instead of just saying you're XYZ pressure washing, figure out like, why are you different than the other people? And then once you have like clarity there, you can create a business like on emotion. And then like you're creating that brand. You're not just marketing. Because what I see, people who don't know what marketing is, they're just throwing money into like ads, they're throwing money into this. But if their messaging is bad, or if they're not really clear on like what they do, it's going to confuse people. And like yard signs can work, but everybody's doing it now. And if you're like putting a sign that says pressure washing and a phone number right next to somebody else's sign that says pressure washing and a phone number, that's not going to work anymore. And Clay and I joke too, because he'll pressure wash somebody's house. There'll be like a clip flyer in their driveway still with somebody else's company. And he got the job. And it's like, I didn't have to spend time printing these out. Didn't have to waste money doing this. Like the modern age is social media. It's Google. And now it's driving into AI. So if you notice when you search stuff on Google, it'll say like, here's the AI recommendation.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not getting on that stuff, and if you're not using like interruptive marketing, say Facebook ads, you're scrolling on your newsfeed and all of a sudden you're starting to get ads from a pressure washer. And then you see 6 ads from him. And then all of a sudden you decide, I need to have him clean my house. Yeah. Like that's different than going to Google and searching, I need to have my house pressure washed. Yeah. Like you're trying to be creative and get in people's faces and be different than the other guy. Cause like if you search in our area, like pressure washing companies, there's like 100 plus Google rated companies in our area. And like you're lost. So what are you going to do differently than the guy next to you? That's kind of mine and Clay's approach.
This is great. Okay. You said that you intrigued me when you were talking about the Google AI recommended, whatever it says. So I just went into incognito tab and I just typed in, who should I hire to pressure wash my house in Corbin, Kentucky? Which that's where I'm at. Yep. And it says, to hire someone to pressure wash your house in Corbin, consider contacting Kentucky Wash Pros, which is me. Me first. Then it says, another company and then another company. And then I'll shout out Elijah Daniels because he's on here with Wicked Wash, but nice. He's not in Corbin. But anyways, I come up first and I was like, and it says, they're local, they're independent, and they serve this area. I was like, okay, sweet. I didn't think about how that would look from what they would recommend.
And so that's literally scrubbing databases, whether it's Google, Yelp, like Microsoft, because I know OpenAI is owned by Microsoft. So like Bing, if you don't have listings on Bing, you're not going to rank as high on OpenAI stuff. So like ChatGPT. And so like if you're not putting yourself in these online marketplaces where somebody says, hey Siri, like find the best pressure washing company, and it's going through an AI driven database thing like that, you're not even going to be in there.
Sure.
And so like that's kind of what the future's headed towards. And like, there's still going to be people who call you because like your next door neighbor uses you. But when the problem that we see is like all these people are flooding the pressure washing space in our area, that like guys like me and Clay are scooping up somebody that was using their next door neighbor or using a recommendation. And we have so many 20-something-year-old kids constantly, hey Clay, how much does it cost to pressure wash a house? Going through like his local service ads.
Hey guys, let's answer this. Let's answer this question right here. You guys jump right on in. I'll read it for us. Christopher Henson says, how do you overcome a guy that was like the first guy in your area? There will be Facebook posts looking for a service, And this guy has 300 daggone godforsaken recommendations versus my handful. How do you beat that?
You want to go for this, Clay? Clay's the Facebook goat.
Okay, so that's kind of how I started my business. I surrounded myself with people that were like good with Facebook. Like that was kind of my networking. I never stepped foot in a networking event, like in a group or anything like that. So I found the people that were good with Facebook and had a lot of recommendations in my area, and I kind of connected with those people. So then when those people went to seeing that somebody was looking for a pressure washer, then those people that were highly recommended in those other areas were commenting my name. So those people would tag along and start commenting my name. So you gotta get connected with that top dog in those Facebook groups and stuff, and kind of ride their coattails a little bit.
To the point of what Clay's making, and to that question, I was somebody that was recommended like pretty stout the year or two before. So I was like somebody established that had all the recommendations, and then I started noticing, who's this Clay Smith guy? And then we connected and we became friends off of that. But I would never have noticed him if he didn't position himself into this, where all these people that were like recommending my company started recommending his. And then you're like, hey, like no hate, but like I'm just going to do some investigating here to see what's up.
Yeah. And another thing that I would recommend is make sure that when you're putting your marketing strategy together, and I'll talk about this a lot on our podcast, is in the spring, you're getting ready for winter, and then the winter, you're getting ready for spring. So in the winter, I'm already setting myself up and my marketing for spring. We stay consistent with all of our marketing. We never turn any of our ads off. We're not turning them on. We're not turning them off when it's slow, when it's busy. We consistently run our ads. So what I like to do is I like to diversify my marketing. I want my hands in everything. I want it in Google. I want it in Facebook. I want it in, because you never know. One of those platforms could be gone tomorrow. So if you're solely relying on Facebook, you need to start looking into other areas to put your money in for marketing.
Yep. Clay's good at diversifying. Because, I mean, I was taking over these groups and then I lost probably 50 jobs because I no longer got a lot of recommendations in these groups. So don't view it as like, oh, this one guy's constantly getting shout outs. He's been there for 10 years. View it as like, it's always shifting. There's always new people in the groups. There's new moderators, and like the tides shift with the wind. So like, just because somebody's not, just because it looks like, oh, this guy's like locked the position down, it could easily 1 year, it could shift to you. It could shift to somebody else.
Well, I'm kind of upset right now because I just did the same thing that Jeremy did while you guys were talking, and Kentucky Wash Pros came up as this recommendation in my area, 3 hours north. How did that happen? It's all over the place.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's funny. I'm reading some of these guys' comments. They must have did the same thing.
Oh, Barry Little's having a great time there. Clay, do you know who Barry Little is? But you're fine not to. You're perfectly fine not to know who he is. But I will say that you guys are a spitting image of one another, and I didn't even think about it till he chimed in here. He's like,
is that the plant guy?
That's the plant guy.
That's the plant guy.
I know who he is. Yeah, I watched him. Him on, I don't remember. I seen him on one of these videos.
Oh, yeah, he's a plant guy. I like it.
Oh.
But yeah, you guys look a lot alike.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about it till you said it.
That's funny.
Oh gosh, that's awesome. So I got to ask, what's the future, Clay? What's the future of your business? Will you, like, first of all, how old are you, Clay?
So I just turned 30 this past month.
Oh God. Well, you know what? It's a silly question. You got a long time to go. And Matt, may I ask your age?
35. So I'll be 35 in June. So close enough.
That's awesome. That's
I feel
awesome.
old.
Yeah, I feel ancient. My back's hurting over here. I'm about to go take some Geritol here in a minute. Prune juice.
Right.
Geritol, the prune juice chaser before I go to bed tonight.
That's funny.
Well, I would tell you that this is my 11th year entering into pressure washing and Facebook. I've never had a website. I still don't have a website. I've never paid for an ad. I've never paid for Google. And by the way, That's because I've been doing it for 11 years. My first ads were on Craigslist. That's how far back I go. And I still do 4 and 5 every single day. And it's because I've branded myself well over the years. And so just this year alone, almost every job that I have done has been for previous customers.
It's awesome.
So the whole high volume, fair price model that there's a couple of us in the conversation tonight share this. It works for the long haul because they're going to be lean seasons and lean seasons within lean seasons, and you just don't know how long they're going to last. But if you've got a database to mine that you can go back, for me now, thousands of house washes, and I can tap into those and then send out a mass text to all these people, and for months still be, washing for those that I've mined 2 months ago. I tell you, just having volume, for me, it has really paid off. Volume has paid off for me.
Yeah. I think too, like you were saying, because you're going to have drop-offs in the market. And this year, whether people admit it or not, I think it's going to be a leaner year because of competition, the economy, stuff like that. And say, hey, you've got a Rolodex of 1,000, 2,000 customers. You lose a couple, you still got plenty in the pocket.
Yeah. Well, Ron Musgraves just said, if you've got the right customers, it's easy. Well, he's not wrong about that. And I know Ron is more of a high ticket guy, and I love that. And I can't, you can't argue numbers. And I can't argue with somebody who's been doing it for as long as Ron has been doing it. I would tell you, as you guys said, one of the first things that you said, Matt, was that there is no model that is the model. This is what you have to do in order to succeed. What we do know is that success follows tracks, but sometimes, or success leaves tracks that you can follow. Sometimes those tracks kind of go this way and this way. It's never this way.
It's true.
So, you got to latch on to what's right. And if you really want to know what the future looks like and what success looks like, just ask the guys who are coming back. So you look at someone like Ron, who's been in it for a long, long time. How could we argue with what he says? Because what he's been doing has worked. But then again, as we said earlier, you got some young whippersnappers who are coming along who are saying, I think I can do it better. And because we're stuck in our old ways, we're going to get passed and lapped.
Well, I think too, my generation and Clay's generation, like we were born in the information era. So like I can ask ChatGPT anything and I can get expert information off of that. So like, I don't have the personal wisdom, but I can get enough information to learn. And I see, like, I had to learn on like pressure washing resources, like the forums back in the day, like in just 2018 when I started. But like, I see kids nowadays, hey, if you want to finance a 30 grand rig and go to a training class, you have more information than I did for the first probably 3 years. So if they can shortcut stuff and maybe have somebody help them take a loan out, they can really accelerate their path more than I could. And that's just in the short time from like 2018-ish. When I started like completely turboing driveways to where I'm at now. It's like there seems like a huge shift in the market just since COVID.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So like, what's the next 5 years going to be in this industry?
Ooh,
it's like all these kids who are opting out of college and they're going to be 17 years old starting pressure washing companies.
Yep.
Versus like me, who's like, I had almost 7 years of corporate experience and then I decided to start after college.
Right. Yeah, anything service industry is the new college.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really
I think the next wave of millionaires is coming from the service industry. And you had that tech era, and it's still tech era, but and I'm 37, so I'm right there and probably in that same category as growing up. But it's like service was, I was always preached, go to college, get a degree. It was never like, hey, you should go to HVAC school, or you should go to plumbing school, or you should be a carpenter. Don't get indoors, have plumbing, don't run heavy equipment. It's like I'm sitting at the hospital and I'm watching them build this new tower for the hospital, and they've got cranes, and I'm like, man, I just wished I was like stepping in the mud with those guys instead of being in this hospital right now. Like, I need to be down there like cleaning their equipment, cleaning up the streets. And I hate being here. And someone was like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, you guys are trapped in here. You don't even realize it. Like, your eyes are not open."
That's true. Yeah. I mean, I was sitting in a corporate desk job and I'm like, oh, cool. Sexy tech sales and all this cool. The tech boom stuff. It's like, if I sit here for 10 years, I'll be a VP making 250, 300 plus whatever bonuses. But I'm like, I don't want that. And then I just see these people, they're miserable. And I'm like, why am I going to tolerate this for 30 years to be this guy?
Yeah. You still have to answer someone. You still
It's
have
even
to
worse.
turn in a friggin' excuse if you're sick. You got to call in. And it's like, it drives me crazy. It eats me up in my soul right now.
Yeah. And then I saw like, hey, you make more money, you have more responsibilities and less freedom. So what's the point of having a ton of money and a lot more bullshit you have to deal with, as opposed to just saying, hey, I can set my own pace, whether you're doing it kind of how you're doing it, Jeremy, or you're like me and Clay, and we're like, how much can we bang out for this certain amount of time? And then we'll see where we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'd asked the question a moment ago, and then I hit the eject button on my own question. I'm going to go back to Clay. There he is, 30 years old. What do you want to do with pressure washing? You've got another 30 years, dude. I mean, that sounds like freaking eternity. You've got 30 years. What does pressure washing look like for you?
So I started this business. It was just kind of something I fumbled into from my auto detailer that detailed all my cars at the car dealership. And I ended up in the doing this, and I started this business. My name of my company is C3. I started it for my kids. It's named after me and my kids, Connor, Colin, and Clay. And really the goal was just to try to make $1,000 a week. I mean, that was my goal starting out. And here we are doing, 40, 50 grand months. Right. So, I don't know. We'll see where it takes us. I mean, I started this for my kids, something that, they're very passionate about. Our commercial on TV, you can look it up on YouTube. Our commercial is me and them. Like, we brand around our kids. So they have fun with it. They know what I do. They know what we do through the day. So this year, we kind of run 2 trucks last year. We're going to try to do 2 full-time trucks here in the next few weeks, hopefully. I mean, that's my goal. We're going to see how we can do here. And we get all our skids from Casey down to Daytona, and Casey's been good to me. He's a good buddy of mine. And the skid route, I highly recommend the skid route just because it's just very convenient. You don't have to worry about backing it in places. Don't have to, apartment complexes, just different, I did a trailer for 2 or 3 years, and there's nothing wrong with it. The skid is just so convenient. So we rolled the skid. We got those electric reels. I almost felt like I was cheating the first day with the electric reels. You do 4 or 5 stops a day, having to reel all those hoses up, after in each stop, and then you go to electric reels. You almost feel like you didn't do nothing all day your first day of using them. But we're gonna I got a 10-year goal, and we're gonna see what we can get to. Hopefully in a couple of years we'll be doing 7 figures. I mean, that's my first goal, and then after that we'll see where it takes us.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Matt?
I have it. I'm probably gonna shoot for like I kind of want to have it like me being more in like managing it and less on the truck / like in and out of the field. Because the model I have now, I have like 2 trucks, and I have like I shoot for like 2 full-time guys on like 1 tech on a truck. So I'm kind of like lean and mean on that approach. I don't have like multiple techs per truck, and then I'm almost like the office manager type guy. I don't necessarily know if I want to like replace myself anytime soon, but definitely down the road, replace myself. Keep it as like a $500,000 company at like 30%, just to be making about that. And then, but like my objective there is to be like not really having to do too much work and effort, so I can figure out stuff like passion projects, like my brand up thing I have in the back, where it's more like branding and like content creation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's cool because I look at like scalability of pressure washing, and it's great. But like when you're on an internet space, like you can scale out massively. But I also don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, I quit my pressure washing business to be a coach, because that's kind of like, in my opinion, if you're not doing it, you don't have a place to tell somebody else how to do it. And that's like the issue that Clay and I both see, and why we do the Wash Bros, because it's like, hey, like we're telling you what we're actively doing every day. We're not just saying, oh, we ran a bunch of ads and grew this much revenue, and then our business shut down 2 years ago, but we're still telling you how to pressure wash. That's
Anybody can do anything one time, but if you don't consistently do it, then it doesn't matter.
And that's the thing. It's like, and like how long you've been in the space to me is way more important than how fast you've grown, because like anybody can put up a number and then it's not sustainable. And then they're jumping to something else. So it's like, I don't know, kind of create stability with the business, maybe add another stream of income via online space, marketing. I like the sales and marketing. That's my space.
Well, that's awesome. It's good to have those, as you said, passion projects. It's easy to get burnt out if you're killing it, focused on one thing. And I highly encourage. The word focus means follow one course until successful, and I highly promote that. But it's nice to have a little passion project, something that within the market, even that you can, still stay energized. And when it's raining, you got something else you can still do, right?
No doubt. And I will say, like, I scaled and got off the truck because I was like, okay, I ran out of, like, I'm not trying to hustle sun up to sundown. And then I was limiting. I was getting to the point where I had to cut my ads off, and I had to stop marketing, because I was like you were saying, if you're 3 or 4 weeks out, why am I spending money when I'm going to have cancellations? And so I made the jump to go full time, and it worked out for me, because this past August I ended up having West Nile virus from a mosquito that caused me to have a seizure and encephalitis, and I had a 6-month driving restriction due to our laws in South Carolina. So I literally woke up in the hospital from having a full grand mal seizure, like no understanding of where I was. My business had to run itself and managed to run itself. So it's almost one of those deals where it's like, if I was on the truck, my business, I would have had to go bankrupt essentially. It's like, what do you do? 6 months, I can't drive. Like for first month and a half, I have like really bad memory issues and stuff like that. So it's almost like create this where it can run itself smoothly enough where, I have to jump in here and there, but it isn't something that's going to be like constantly demand my time to keep going forward. But
awesome, man. Awesome. I hate to hear that you struggled like that, but the good Lord got you through that, and here you are stronger on the other side, right?
Yep. And like you said, it kind of shifts your, like you're talking about focus and stuff. Like it shifts your priorities, and you can zoom out and see what's really important and like what directions you want to go.
Perspective.
It's easy. Yes. The perspective is easy. It's easy to be like so focused on one area and miss out on opportunity all over.
Well said.
Yeah.
Somebody quote that one. That was good. Yeah.
So on your passion project, the brand up, it's a book, right? You got a book out?
Yeah. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I have one, but
I don't know if I have one. He said,
I got my pressure washing one that I actually have on Amazon too. But now with AI, you can create content, and the content is like I can write a book in my own voice and break down stuff from like analyzing data on my podcast, and then it's like, here's a compilation, and I can upload it to Amazon and I can sell it as a book. And I did that with the brand up as well. So that's like we were talking about AI earlier. It's like I could write a 200-page book in a month.
Yeah. I might have to check that one out. I've been doing a lot of reading. I don't say reading, audiobooks. And I didn't realize that now. I guess now that they can, like I've been reading Brand It, Not Bland It, and it's through an AI voice, and it's pretty good.
Cool.
It's pretty
11
good.
Labs. I've narrated my book through 11 Labs, and it's AI driven, but it sounds like my voice.
Yeah. So I was pretty pumped. Actually, I was on there, and I've been doing a lot of reading on branding and marketing over the winter, and I came across Dan's book. It was on, I think it was on sale on audio or Audible for like $5.99, and I know the hardback's like $40 or softback. I was like $5.99. That's a steal. I'm just going to pick it up, and man, it's so detailed, and so I've been trying to pick up on about anything I can pick up on with branding. So to see how I can even try to set myself, up.
Yeah, I mean, I got a free. I got the PDF of mine, so I can just drop it in the chat if anybody wants to look over it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm sure there's several in here. I'm interested.
Yeah. But yeah, isn't he going to be at the Huge? The guy who wrote that book,
Dan Anatoly. Is that how you say his last name? Anatoly.
I saw he was going to be at a convention.
Kick Charge. I know that.
Okay, Builder said I need I need books with a lot of pictures. You have a lot of pictures in your book.
Need a pop-up book.
I got a coloring book.
He's a pop-up book with a little pressure washer, dude. Manual hose reel.
Hey, I'm the manual hose reel, and I don't even connect my hoses to my reel, so I'm that guy.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, you're in good company here.
Yeah.
I got some rusty Cox reels from like 10 years ago.
Right.
Got them secondhand.
I sell my passion, what did you call that? Side passion? What was it?
Or like a passion project.
Passion project. Well, my passion project, part of that is I sell hose reels, so I can hook you up.
There you go.
We're all just kind of plugging our thing tonight, aren't we?
I do need one. I have a soft, like I have one, and I guess the screw that goes through the middle of it fell off of one of them. So every time I rotate, it's like,
oh yes. I've got a full video on how to repair those. Nice. So I truly do.
I'll be honest. I'm doing a flatbed build for a customer. I picked up one of Mike's reels, and it is. I mean, I'm not saying it, just say, but it's extremely nice.
Well, thank you.
It is, and it's got 3/4 inch manifold. It's for a soft wash, just because we weren't going to bypass the reel, and I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of it.
And it kind of hurts my feelings that you were surprised, to be honest with you, Jeremy. Wow. You know, I put out top quality products.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I'm surprised that we're still friends. How about that?
I know. I'm telling you, it's like twins here, Arnold and Danny.
I was going to give it 6 months. Oh, gosh. Well, here we are at the top of the hour. Before we hit the eject button, I don't know if you guys know, we always close in prayer, and this is just Jeremy's week to pray. But you guys take just a minute and kind of promote yourself. You've got Facebook pages, you've got YouTube channels, all that good stuff. How can we find you, and how can we enjoy you beyond the podcast?
Cool. You want to kick it off, Clay?
Yeah. So I do a lot of promoting on TikTok. A lot of people don't know I'm a kind of an anonymous name. Nobody really knows it's me. But if you go follow the Pressure Wash Guru on TikTok, that is me. I had a video hit, I think, 9 million views carving a pumpkin. I'm sure everybody in here may have seen it. And I promote a lot of product as far as pressure washing product, nozzles, and stuff like that on there. Obviously, Facebook, Clay Smith, Instagram, Clay Smith. We have a Wash Bros group and the Wash Bros podcast page. I'm on YouTube as well, C3 Wash Bros LLC, just the name of my company. The Wash Bros podcast is on every platform you can think of. And C3 Wash Bros LLC on Facebook.
It's awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. Matt?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on Facebook too, so you can add me there, Matt Jackson, or Matt the Driveway Guy, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the regulars there. And then the Wash Bros podcast. That's like Clay and I's little project that we like to do as well. And I've been restarting this thing called like Brand Up that I've been kind of playing with since 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm shifting that into more of like a podcast, because like video podcasts are in, and it's easy to shoot a podcast, cut it down, make reels, make content out of that, and like share it across all platforms. So that's what we do, brand up your business. And I have an Amazon book for that. And I also have, I did this a year or so ago. No pressure washing. So if you look it up if you search pressure washing book on Amazon, I go back and forth with Heath on the rating. So it's one of those trying to keep that up there. It's kind of a blueprint that I wrote based on like kind of the common questions of like, hey, I'm stuck at 10K a month, or I'm stuck part-time and I want to go full-time, or like what I wish I knew when I was starting out. So kind of like easy read, and don't worry, there's pictures in it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Nah.
You can see my turbo tips.
The turbo guy.
The turbo guy. That should be the new name. That should have been my April Fool's joke. Damn it.
You missed out, man. You missed out.
Should have been an action figure with the turbo tip.
Oh, that's funny. Our buddy Keith Pickens, and there we go. There's the best, worst podcast ever.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well, we've got 71 in the room tonight. That's about average. We've had a good night. Thank you guys for joining us. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you guys got time, but maybe Jeremy's got some things to discuss. I don't want to hit the eject button just because.
But yeah. Well, I'm open if they're open.
I'm going to answer this question right here. Hey, Mike, can the cheap shot be used as a sludge sucker? No, please. It cannot, just so you know. But you can try it. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I know we're all East Coast, and I'm sure we got big days washing tomorrow. Actually, I'm not washing anything. I'm working on a build. I purposely did that. Do you guys build your own equipment? I know. Clay, you said you buy your stuff from Casey, your skids and stuff. Matt, do you build or do you buy?
I go to North Georgia, but I kind of piece everything together. So North Georgia Airless is like 90 minutes from us.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
Just hop down 85, so it's nice. I've been going there pretty much from the start, and I'm not bougie like Clay, who just brings like 30K in cash and just sets it on Casey's desk. I'm like, I'll buy one piece at a time.
Yeah.
So that's why they call him the Wash Daddy in Greenville.
The Wash Daddy.
I guess he's the wash. I'm gonna have to be like the country daddy.
Yeah. I'm just the guy. He's the daddy.
You can be the spray daddy.
Yeah.
Spray daddy. Matt's turbo daddy.
Turbo daddy. Right.
Yeah.
Like, we'll stop there because I guess it's a Christian podcast.
That's funny you should say that, because I was thinking earlier, I think Barry Little was probably a little bit depressed since neither one of you guys have an OnlyFans page. We were waiting on it and it never came up. So
I thought when you mentioned Craigslist, I thought you were selling pictures of your feet.
mostly my legs, but my feet are disgusting, but my legs are it's pretty nice, I must admit.
I saw the Fresh Prince on there, so I figured that was you.
That's me. That's right. No doubt.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, real quick, got a guy asking. It's asking if Matt, you got Clay, whoever can speak a little bit more about your coaching. How can they find that?
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, sure. I mean, I bought a domain and I have like a newsletter sign up on there. So the problem, of course, we're running into is like time at the end of the day. But if you want to go to like the Wash Bros podcast, we talk about a lot of stuff. We have like 30 episodes on that. And each episode we try to break down like questions that we think are relevant to like where we are, like questions from the start of when we started pressure washing. So if you guys like you're like, hey, I need help, I want questions, but I don't know where to start, like you can go through chronologically and like listen to 30 episodes. So there's like a whole day worth of information. And it's cool because we started doing it when Clay was doing like 10K a month. And we talk about like his journey going forward and all that stuff. And I talk about my journey before I like had a team and like the pain points of growing and scaling and like cash flow, stuff that you don't think about. But if you have guys talking about their struggles, it kind of can help you. But if they want to go to like the Wash Bros and then message us through there, that's cool. We have a little Facebook page and we're working on building a group like the Wash Bros group within that page.
But if you're really looking for a next level step of mentorship, go to the powerwashingcoach.com and just fill out the form there.
that gives us your email so we can connect with you that way. We both are really heavily involved in our businesses still. So it's not like, oh, we're going to try to sell you this like mastermind course, but we're trying to like put something to help people out. Cause like the whole Wash Bros concept for us is like, hey, we're pretty much like two guys that are actively doing it. And so we're in the field too. So like, we're not over here like we're telling you from YouTube. We're like, hey, this is half the time Clay's posting and these things. He's like, this is what we're doing on a job today. This is what I'm dealing with. Like, this is how I got the job. So we try to be more like hands-on and relevant and helpful. But yeah, like the powerwashingcoach.com, that's something cool. Or if anybody wants like a PDF of this book or my brand up book, just message me and I can send you a PDF of it. It's
Very nice.
It's
Very
good.
nice.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty. I mean, we're pretty laid back. We like connecting with people, and as you guys know, when you're in it so long, people start blowing you up. So you're like, well, here's like a YouTube video of questions that everybody asks.
Here's one everybody asks, and I'm at least everybody tonight. How long did it take you guys to become prominent businesses where you were getting multiple jobs throughout every day?
I mean, Clay and I are both like super heavy on marketing. So I guess the question is that I always ask when people are like, how do we get work? It's like, what are you doing to market your business today? And you can go like word of mouth. That's just going to take a while. Or you can, and what I did, like I had a full-time job. So I was running ads and I was like booking jobs while I was working. So like I was using social media to do my marketing for me. And I'd be on my phone at work at my desk job, like booking out jobs for the nights and the weekends. So I always, from the start, had like, even part-time, I was filling up. I think I would do like a Saturday and a Sunday at like maybe $1,000 a day. So I was always like staying busy. And we talk about a lot on our podcast. We are a sales and marketing business. And what we do is pressure wash. A lot of guys think they're a pressure washing business and they disregard the sales and marketing part. Yeah. And that's kind of the whole premise of like what Clay and I do and like my brand up thing. We want to put ourselves forward as like, hey, we're a branding, a sales, and a marketing company. And like the product that we deliver is pressure washing. Because everybody's like, hey, how many gallons a minute do you have? Like I'll post a video on my feed, like pressure washing a Starbucks or something, or doing like a big commercial building. And like my surface cleaner's flying. And they're like, is that a 10 gallon a minute machine? I was like, you should be asking how I got that job. Yeah. But it's like, it's the mental reframe.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. It's
not asking the right questions. That's the problem.
Yeah. And it's like changing that mindset.
Yeah.
Because like, hey, I mean, like I look at my CRM, I think I have like 3,500 customers in it over pretty much from 2021. So like Clay and I both do a ton of volume. Like we'll probably hit almost 1,000 customers this year. And I think I'm just looking at our numbers for this year, and we don't do like Christmas lights or winter stuff. We'll within like a week or two, I say within 2 to 3 weeks, probably like third week of April, we'll be at 100K for the year. So like this is where we start really ramping up, and it's like the volume game, and we farm our customers a lot. So if we have 3,000 customers, we're farming all the time. Like we have our CRM is hitting up our customers from last year, saying, hey, now you know how clean your house can be. It's time to get on schedule again. Yep, just dude, like constantly top of mind.
I preach the text blast, and I've personally talked to several guys who haven't ever sent a text blast out, and they send it out, and they're like, I can't believe I got this response. Why have I never done it? I'm like, dude, these customers already believe in you because they've already bought from you, so you need to stay front of mind. Yeah, you're welcome, Jacob and Damon. I know you're on here, but
and too, like. And this is what Clay, we talk about on our podcast too. Like he was kind of reluctant to spend money and invest in a CRM, and he was like pen and paper. But then like after he's been in business, he's like kicking himself because he's like, man, I could have had like an extra 100 or 200 like email addresses, phone numbers, points of contact with customers that I can stay on top of them.
Yeah. I was talking to Joe Deary. You guys know who Joe Deary is from Putnam, Connecticut? You have any idea? Okay. He's a Facebook guy or a YouTube guy. Anyways, I'm on his text blast, and he's already sent out. He's from Connecticut, mind you. They don't start washing until we start washing, really.
Yeah.
But he has already sent out 3 or 4 text blasts this year, He sent one out this weekend. I talked to him today. He said, I picked up 40 washes from that.
That's awesome.
And that's where the volume game comes in.
Yep.
It's where the volume game comes in.
And this is the thing too. If you're, say you use local service ads or something like that, and in our market, like a phone call off of that is like $60, or like my cost per click conversion on Google ads to get a website lead is like $32. So if it's $30 or $60 for a customer contact that I'm paying for, why don't I save that customer? Because therefore my customer acquisition cost is not, I'm not having to restart every year. Because like the repeat business usually are the best customers. They know your systems and processes, and they're calling you back again because they like you. And two, like you can farm customers or text blast or email blast, because we'll do like emails too. I'd say probably like once a quarter we're doing an email thing, and then we'll probably text blast like before season, or like we have pollen bad here, so we were kind of like incentivizing people, hey, get on the books while they're still pollen out. But even people that are like, hey, I don't need you this year, but I referred you to my mom, like top of mind.
Oh, that's great.
Because like Clay came in, swooped up a lot of business I had, and it's one of those deals. Like if I'm not constantly pushing, he's going to take up my business.
Yeah, that's it.
And like I'm established, so if I'm not constantly making sure that my customer base is protected from the new guy, I'm going to lose.
Yeah,
and that's.
Hey, Clay? I know you mentioned Clay was skeptic about getting the CRM at first. For the new guy who is needing to learn all this stuff, and they're afraid to invest in themselves, what would you tell them?
It's the best $180 a month I spend. So what Matt was going back to talking about, every customer that comes to your phone, comes to your website, comes to wherever they come from, comes through your funnel, somewhere down the line, it's costing you money. So whether they decline your quote, you're not able to close that job now, that person that they went with this year may not be in business next year. So it goes back to farming that customer. So make sure that you're reaching out and farming those people the following year, because like I said, that guy may not be in business next year, and there's a good chance they can still use you, and that lead will eventually pay for itself longer down the line as long as you stay consistent with it.
Great perspective. Yeah, just because you didn't land it doesn't mean you shouldn't save that contact.
Don't ever give up.
Ooh, well said. That's fire right there. Good stuff.
Don't throw a lead away.
Yeah. That's why we're the Wash Bros, because I've met so many guys in the space, especially locally, and Clay's one of the only guys who like we can track mentally, and it's kind of refreshing. Where a lot of times it's you're talking to somebody and you're like, okay, I can. This is the level I'm talking to you at, and like I'm cool, but there's not like a lot of like synergy there.
And then me and Matt are kind of like the Pepsi and Coke of our market. So, and then we kind of push each other to, you know what I mean? So if I tell Matt I'm doing $3,000 today, he's going to be doing $3,000 tomorrow. He's going to figure it
out. Clay encourages me to bump my ad spend. So if I look at our auctions on Google, we just drive the price up for each other. I was like, you're putting this much a day in? Dang it.
Hey, so real quick, I know someone's probably thinking, what CRM are you using? Me and Mike both are Marquette guys.
So
I
we're
like
using
house
call.
call. Yeah, we both use house call.
Okay. Because I knew it was going to be something different when you said it was $180 a month. I was like, what are they using?
Yeah, well, mine is about that because I have like 6 accounts on there. So like it's tiered based upon how many accounts you have.
Okay.
But like if it's just one person, but I think it's like 100 something. I'm not entirely sure. To me, the value of like it following up with people, because you set like you can set email prompts of like before a job, after a job, review request, and that's one thing that Clay and I both do well. Like we get reviews. Like I'm at 480 Google reviews, Clay's at 3 something. Like we know that every year we're gonna get like 150, 200 something reviews, like just clockwork because of how our systems work.
I gotta post this one. Well, don't you know? We're talking CRMs, and Mike says you guys are getting robbed, hosed. Yeah. He says you're getting hosed.
It's true, right?
Yeah. I had a text come through just a second ago from a buddy of mine who's watching. He's like, I like these guys.
Right.
He's about 40 minutes up the road from me.
There you go.
There you go. Turn him on. You need to be watching their podcast, Wash Bros podcast, Jacob.
Yep.
Right. It is cool. I don't know if so. Do you guys upload this to a podcast form too?
We never have. We should. We don't.
Do you guys record like you record this?
It's recorded on on our StreamYard thing, and then usually well, I say usually, but back when we're not so busy, I would upload it onto Opus Clips and just have a bunch of clips cut out of it and upload the clips and stuff of that nature. But now we're getting into the busy season, and I kind of slack because Mike makes me do everything.
It's true.
Right.
I mean, he didn't even know how to send the guest link until last week.
It's true.
It's funny. But yeah, you could use CapCut, upload this and export the audio out, and then we use Buzzsprout, yeah. And then it syndicates it all out, and then AI writes descriptions and all this stuff for it and transcripts. It's super easy. And it's cool because it'll show the metrics of who listens to these podcasts. And we can touch people. Like, I think we have people in Germany. So like we have like 60 something downloads like in Frankfurt, Germany. And it's crazy. Like, you can see where people are listening. It's not just like the typical places you would think.
We have a regular weekly tune-in guy named Andrew, and Andrew is from New Zealand. He's here every week, so I want to know what time it is over there when he's here. It's late over here. It's got to be like morning there,
right?
It's really cool how the outreach that this can have. So I may need to reach out to you again and get that sequence on what you just said, because I mean, we should do that.
You guys get a good engagement, and that way you can put it out on podcast space, because people like listening to podcasts when they wash.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hey, what do you do when you're driving to jobs? What do you do when you're on the job? You get tired of listening to the same Spotify playlist, so you might as well put a podcast out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts and special guests, next week we have Rusty. How do you say his last name, Jeremy? Nesvig?
I don't know. I'm country. Don't ask me, dude.
I don't know. Rusty. Everybody knows Rusty. Rusty's the man.
Yeah. Rusty, he's a Florida guy.
Yeah. Does a lot of paver sealing, but a lot of washing. And he's a good dude. So you don't want to miss next Wednesday. And then also, I'll be in Chicago this coming weekend, actually Sunday and Monday, for the Wash and Learn conference, and I will have a booth there as a vendor. And if you're in the Chicagoland area, then come see us and we'll hang out a little bit. You can buy me lunch or something. I'll humble myself and let you buy me lunch, and we'll have a good time. So got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess at that point we can go ahead and land this airplane. And I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been great. It's been fun. We went an hour and 18 minutes. I'm sorry we held you over. We usually shoot for an hour, but it's untelling sometimes. But yeah, I'll be respectful of each other's time. Like I said, we end the podcast in prayer, so we'll go ahead and hit that and hit the eject button. Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight, come together and talk with our friends Matt and Clay, and we're thankful for the ones who tuned in, chimed in, and hopefully took something away from this podcast that they can find useful and actionable and apply that into their business. Lord, we just pray for blessings on each one, pray for protection on everyone tonight. Lord, just lead us, guide us, and direct us in our business and in our life. And we thank you for your son, Jesus, most importantly. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys.
Amen. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.